Nations around the world are transitioning from a reliance on fossil fuels to investing into green alternatives. Today on Built a Billion, we'll take a look at the countries all over the planet that are producing groundbreaking technologies, super power plants, and much more. If you like to hear about all the mega projects of the world, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so that we can show you all the mega projects of the world, 1 billion at a time. Quaid-e-Azam Solar Park. The Punjab province in Pakistan has the ideal climate for solar power and has been selected as the site of the country's newest energy facility. It's called the Quaid-e-Azam Solar Park after the man who founded Pakistan, and a 6,500-acre plot of land was reserved just for the project. When completed, it is expected to have a production of 100 megawatt hours. The government invested the initial $130 million to complete the first phase, with the hopes of attracting investors for the following phases. This first phase was completed in 2015 and has seen the installation of 400,000 solar modules on 500 acres, producing 100 megawatt hours. After an investment by Zonergy, production has been increased to 400 megawatt hours, and the project remains on track to be completed by the next decade. If it does, it will be one of the largest solar energy production facilities on Earth. Mojave Wind Farm. The Mojave Wind Farm is ranked as the third largest onshore wind power project on the planet, located in the Tehachapi Pass of the Tehachapi Mountains in California. The development covers 50 square miles and is made up of 600 wind turbines. The project was commissioned in 2010 with an estimated cost of $2.9 billion, but the project size has since doubled due to its success with its capacity of 1,550 megawatts, with an average annual production of 3,100 gigawatt hours. The high altitude and isolation makes the area the ideal location for a wind farm, and right now it's the largest project of its kind in the United States. It serves as a model, and there are several plans to recreate it elsewhere in the country. ITER. Replacing a coal-powered generator with renewable energy like solar panels or a wind farm takes up a massive amount of space, but a new technology being tried in France just might save the day. The most efficient means of creating energy is the process that occurs in the sun, called nuclear fusion, and there's a new coalition of 35 countries trying to replicate that process here on Earth. The International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor is one of the most ambitious engineering projects of all time, and it's right out of a sci-fi movie. It's also the most expensive science project of all time, costing $55 billion. If the nuclear fusion can be replicated, it will solve the seemingly unending search for clean energy. Construction began on the site in 2010, with everything being switched on by 2025. If everything goes to plan, nuclear fusion could be possible by 2035. The reactor will use deuterium and tritium as its fuel, and the plasma that is created will be controlled by magnets. The ITER will hopefully be the energy of the future. Topaz Solar Farm. California has been trying to lead the way in renewable energy, and so naturally is home to one of the largest solar panel farms on the planet. First conceived in 2009 on 9.5 square miles of ranch land, an additional 640 acres was then purchased in 2011. Astoundingly, the project consists of 9 million cadmium telluride panels, with 1 million being installed every 5 months. It's designed to generate power in the middle of the day, and the farm began providing energy to the grid in February of 2013. It was deemed fully operational in 2014 and now has a production of 550 megawatts and costs $2.5 billion. There is one concern about the farm, however. Berkshire Hathaway Energy, which owns the project, receives all of its revenue from the Pacific Gas and Electric Company due to how the power market works. Dogger Bank. The UK is dedicated to having most of its energy come from renewable resources by the end of the decade, but they don't have a lot of sunlight, which means they must take advantage of the wind. Due to this, the country has several wind projects, but Dogger Bank is on another level. Costing $15 billion, it will be the world's largest offshore wind farm. is being built about 78 miles off the northeastern coast, where the water is shallow, which allows fixed foundation turbine installation. The project will be split into 4 separate farms, and upon completion, there will be 313 megawatt turbines capable of an output of 3.6 gigawatts. The blades in these turbines are 721 feet long, and one spin of these could power an average home for 2 days. The whole project will end up serving power to 6 million homes. Moss Energy Landing Storage Facility. Maintaining a regular supply of electricity will be a major challenge of relying on renewable energy. Solar panels only work during the day, and wind turbines rely on weather, so there needs to be a solution once demand exceeds supply. California is leading the US once again for the installation of storage battery technology at the Moss Landing power plant. This site will possibly become the location for the world's largest battery. Construction began in 2019, and the first phase began operating in 2020 to give a capacity of 300 megawatts, while the second started in 2021 to increase output to 400 megawatts. The goal is to be able to extend the lithium-ion power cells to be able to store 1,500 megawatts. Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park. Don't be fooled by the country's oil wealth. Dubai is investing heavily into alternative fuels and technologies. This includes the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park, 31 miles south of Dubai. It's one of the biggest renewable megaprojects to ever be started, and when finished is expected to have a max capacity of 3,000 megawatts. The park is relying on 2 ways to produce energy, the first being the photovoltaic panels, with 2.5 million being installed across 4 different stages. And the next technique is called concentrating solar power, where mirrors and lenses are used to concentrate the sun's rays on a receiver, where its heat is then used to drive a turbine. It's also 20% cheaper to construct than any other subsidized power purchase agreement in history. Grand Inga Hydroelectric Project. The Congo River, the second largest river in the world, has a huge basin which represents 13% of the total landmass of Africa. It's the only river in the world that crosses the equator twice, and its huge flow is nearly constant because there's always a rainy season to feed it from either side of the equator. These conditions make it the ideal river to build several hydroelectric power stations on. The Grand Inga Hydroelectric Project will consist of several dams being constructed in conjunction with 7 generating stations at Inga Falls. The cost of this project is an unbelievable $80 billion, which means each generating station could be owned by different companies and/or nations. It's possible the final output of this project could be 70 gigawatts, making it the largest power station on the planet, and it wouldn't even be close. What do you think about these huge energy megaprojects? Let me know in the comments down below. Click a video on the screen to watch something you haven't seen, and thanks for visiting Built a Billion.